right, we are sitting here right now with Jim Vair, who's the Vice President of Business Development here at Capital Networks, Toronto, Canada, on a freezing cold day here at the beginning of spring. But we're so happy to sit down. Jim, thank you so much for your time. A lot of people might not know Capital Networks immediately off the bat, so I was going to ask Jim first, could you give us a little bit of a history about the company?
Sure. Actually, Capital Networks is celebrating its 20th year in business this year in April. Bill started the company in 1991. That was a little bit before the digital out-of-home universe started, and we started in broadcast and cable. So it was in the early days of just automating content to screens. So we were doing news tickers, financial tickers, weather tickers, sports tickers. But after a few years in business, we realized that we could take this really niche boutique tool set that we had, shrink wrap it into a box, and approach this emerging out-of-home, digital out-of-home universe for stadiums, schools, corporate communications, digital signage, and everything that falls under the umbrella of digital out-of-home. So we took this software set that we had, and we came up with a product audience. And we've been marketing the product audience now for close to 10 years, about half of the company. And we're having some very interesting success.
Good.
Hope for more.
Well, yeah, that's true. So your software suite is something that allows content and advertising things to be delivered onto the screens. In December, you came out with Audience 4. Could you talk about a little bit more about kind of what's maybe new with the product?
Yes, thank you. It's been an interesting evolution over the years. As you mentioned, we're on version 4 now, and the Audience platform has grown. It's a full platform for the creation, scheduling, management, and verification of content on screens. And in version 4, we've really been focusing on some new advanced features. We've got 3D persistent transitions to give a two-dimensional flat panel the look that it's got some depth, wrapping objects over spheres and cubes and cylinders to give the extra presentation effects, as well as actual true 3D stereoscopic support as well for some broadcast applications that we're doing. But that's an interesting, maybe down the road for the digital out-of-home market. And then some other back-end things that aren't quite as obvious, but more efficiency in the day-to-day management of operation, and integration of more hooks and tools to help make their digital signage deployment more relevant in the environment it's installed.
Good. Well, now relevancy is something that everybody's been talking about, and it's one of the biggest themes that we've been seeing in a lot of our interviews here. Now, could you give us an example of maybe a vertical that's using this software in a successful way, or an area of business that's really getting a lot out of this software?
In the past 12 months, we've really spent some time focusing on the educational vertical. There's been some schools and some businesses. We've got some university and college campuses. This year at DOOHSocial 2011, we did have a speaker down from one of our installations from the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology in Northern Alberta. They have a large spread out campus in that area. There's about 8 different buildings in 8 different cities and areas around there. And they wanted one platform to be centrally managed, to manage the content for all the students and all the staff and all the faculty. And so we're able to provide that platform for them. We integrated with some of their existing systems. They have PeopleSoft software for managing and scheduling the classrooms, start times, what's in there. So we're able to integrate with those systems, as well as integrate with some life safety systems for fire alarm notification and things like that, all of which is very important to educational environments. And that's where we find our platforms really excelling. Since we came from a broadcast and cable, our tool really always had to integrate within existing systems and perform a job. And now that the digital out-of-home market is growing up a bit and people really want their digital signage to accomplish something as opposed to just rotating pretty pictures, we're finding audience getting a lot more acceptance.
Well, that's really, really good news for everybody, I think.
I think so.
The fact that the industry is maturing, Lyle Bond mentioned that as well. There's a maturation going on here. People kind of know a little bit more what they want, and now the software is becoming more sophisticated, so it can all kind of get integrated together. So, Jim, listen, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Great talking with you.